So, I guess it's just something I'm not understanding. I don't really figure this out. But, why? Why is this a thing? Why are we actually doing this as if it's okay or something? Now, if you don't know what the topic is, just look at the top of the video, and I know it's going to look extremely crazy, but it does make sense. Um, why are we getting oatmeal? Not oatmeal. Why are we getting why are we getting raisin cookies? Why? Why are you giving us raisin cookies? Now, I understand. Okay, they're healthier for us. They're better, but why? I think raisin cookies are probably like the devil's favorite cookie, but that's just my opinion. Like it's the cookie of deceit and deception and thievery. So let's think about this. And if you're wondering, no, the whole video isn't literally about oatmeal cookies. I mean, not oatmeal raisin. I keep wanting to say oatmeal raisin. I might just change it. Um, I won't. I won't. Not gonna happen. So, um, we're given. Well, sorry. We are told that these raisin cookies are amazing. That they are the greatest thing to happen to us. They prepare us for life and everything that's going to happen in our future. But they're just some raisin cookies. You can make raisin cookies by yourself. You could go do your you could go make raisin cookies, put icing on them. I mean, I'm a little pudgy. I like icing. That's why I prefer chocolate chip cookies because they have chocolate in them, and it's beautiful. I mean, especially white chocolate chip cookies. Jesus, white chocolate. White chocolate is my favorite. That is life. So, back to oh yeah, this isn't about raisin cookies. It's not. Mm-mm. I'm not that. I'm not that crazy to go on a whole rant about actual raisin cookies. But about AP tests though, why? Well, not AP tests, just AP classes in general. Now, don't take this as like if you work for a school or you work for administrators or all that stuff. Why are you? Don't get offended by this. This is just a legitimate question. I don't understand this, and I'm in AP classes right now, and I legitimately don't see the real point to them. Well, most of them. Yeah, most of them. So, can we can we attempt to come up with a solution? So I'm going to give my side of it, and I mean in the comments you can give your side of it. You can say preach, because there will be a few hallelujah moments in this. I've practiced this a good 2 or 3 times, and I feel yes, the Holy Spirit has told me I need to do this video because yes, Jesus, free my people from oppression. So, and I'm really curious. So we're gonna start off with this. I'm gonna do this whole thing in an analogy because I like analogies and they keep me entertained, and I hope it keeps people entertained. But they keep me entertained, so that's how I know what track I'm going on. And imagine this: you're at an event and you're just like, okay, kind of having fun. You're walking around with friends and all that stuff, and then this lady comes by and she's like holding a tray and it's like full of just cookies. Like there's literally just like cookies and they look like chocolate chip cookies. You're like, ooh, yes, lady, come my way. I need some cookies in my life. She walks over to you and she's like, oh yeah, take as many as possible. They're really good. It's like they're really good for you and they taste really good and they're going to really help you later on in life. And so you're like, okay, crazy lady, I just want cookies. So so you like take a cookie and she's like, you can take as many as you want. So you take 4 cookies. And lady's walked off now, and you're still like sitting talking to your friend, like all that stuff. And you're like, okay, I have these cookies in my hand. Might as well eat one, like at least take a bite of one of them. You pick one up, and you take a bite, and your heart sinks to the bottom of your stomach. and you swear you want to poop it out because you realize it's not a chocolate chip cookie. It's a raisin cookie. Because now the salty, bad tasting lump of what should have been a beautiful and delicious chocolate chip cookie, because in your mind you were prepared to eat this chocolate chip cookie. You were imagining like all the gooey and like all the like you can use like a little old lady just like rolling the dough and like making it and like putting it in the oven, like singing some sort of song from when she was little, and you just imagine all the love that went into making chocolate chip cookies, right? And then they give you raisin cookies, but they look like chocolate chip cookies, so you got them, and then you're sitting here with raisin cookies in your hand. You can't throw them away because there's no trash cans, and you don't really want to be like rude person at the event who's like just throws away a handful of cookies. You can't just drop them and like put them on the floor, because then you're that one person who's like, oh, this guy just dropped cookies and this lady said that they were really good for you and they were just. Then you get looked at strange for at this event. So you're basically stuck holding these cookies in your hand that you don't even want, but you're stuck with. And then they have there's so many things wrong with this. Like, I mean, if you enjoy raisin cookies, all power to you. Imagine cookies you don't like. I mean, but you don't find people that don't enjoy chocolate chip cookies. And I mean, chocolate is life. Chocolate is delicious. It literally makes you happier just by eating it, with the small exception of people who are allergic to chocolate, which I mean, to those I say my condolences to your soul who has yet to be awakened by the taste of chocolate. And I can't do anything for you, but I pray you a swift recovery from whatever bondage is tying you from eating chocolate. Whatever the devil has on you, please take it away so that way they can consume the magical beauty of chocolate. Yes. Yes. So I enjoy chocolate chip cookies, chocolate like white chocolate macadamia nut, and I enjoy like the sweeter things. But when you don't tell me what this cookie is, and it's a raisin cookie, but it looks like a chocolate chip cookie, and you ain't said anything, you just hand me a cookie, it's like, hey, here's this. I assume it's a chocolate chip cookie because that's the most famous. Everyone knows chocolate chip cookies. There's not a person who doesn't know of chocolate chip cookies. And you give this to me, and I'm like, okay, chocolate chip cookie, assumption. And you take it, and you're like, okay, da, da, da. And you see a whole bunch of other people that you know with these seemingly chocolate chip cookies. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll try one. Everyone else is getting them. I'm guessing they're okay. And then you realize all of you guys are stuck in the same predicament with all these cookies in your hand. You gotta hold them. You gotta hold them in your hand. You can't put them in your pocket because, I mean, that'd kind of be weird to just put a random cookie in your pocket and you're at this event, so you're probably dressed up or something. And you're like, okay, what do I do with this? And all of your friends are like, what do we do with this? So you're sitting throughout this whole event holding cookies, and you're like, I don't want them. I can't give them to someone. I can't put them down. So you're stuck with these cookies until you leave. And it sucks. Because you're kind of like, okay, yeah, and then after a while cookies kind of get a little, I'll say sweaty, because like honestly, if I'm holding something in my hand for a long time, my hands start to sweat. Cookies start to get a little sweaty. So you're like, okay, this isn't good. These cookies ain't going well. Just trying to find the trash can, but there aren't any for some reason. Apparently people at this event don't know how to plan for anything. So you're like, oh, okay, I'll just hold them till I leave. And then before you leave, they're like, hey, so you know all those cookies you guys took? Yeah, so we're gonna need you to pay to do something with them. What? I don't. What? Yeah, like you're gonna have to like give us a little bit of money, and you can use those cookies, like all the ones you ate, and you can potentially get something when you leave. Not when you leave, a few months after you leave. Yeah. So you're like, okay, well, shoot. I mean, I've had these cookies for like this whole time that I've been here, so I might as well do something with them that I could potentially get something for. And they're like, oh, that's great. Yeah, so that'll be $90 for each cookie that you took. I don't. Well, I didn't even want. After I got like I wanted. I will admit I wanted the cookie before I got it because I didn't know what it was. Now after I have it, I don't want it. Now you're telling me that I can do something with these and potentially, like I'd have to be amazing at everything to potentially get something for these cookies. Get something, get something, but still have cookies that I have to throw away separately. Yeah, it just makes sense, right? Like you just go and you give it, like you give it some money, then you like do this whole thing, and it's gonna take a long time. Like you're just gonna be sitting in a room. It's gonna be really quiet. You're gonna be in there for a while, and yeah, and then if you do really well in there, and it's gonna be extremely boring. It is. That's the truth. And after you're in that room for a while, then who knows? Maybe if you do really well, after you leave, we'll tell you how well you did, and then you might get some money. Okay. Now, I guess that's how I perceive AP classes, and I am in four at the moment, and that's how I feel right now about them. I've bitten into them, and I realize that they aren't chocolate chip cookies. Not at all. No, no, they aren't. Um, I kind of bit into one last year, but I was okay with it. I ate the rest of the cookie. Um, and it was English, and it was pretty cool. I enjoyed that class. That's why I decided to do four this year because I was like, okay, that was the first time doing an AP class. I was like, I guess I'll try one. I'll try it my last year, senior year. I'll go all in. You know what? YOLO. I was a dumb fool. That was the stupidest decision I could have ever made. Seriously, like one AP class last year, I was okay. I didn't die. I wasn't like drowning and like sinking, and I didn't feel like my soul was in jeopardy every day. But when you take four and you jump into four of them, yeah, things change. Yeah, because you have like different cookies. They taste different. Not all the cookies taste the same. Not every cookie is made equally. For example, you can have one cookie that's sort of dry. Like it's dry and it's crunchy and it's not a cookie you'd really just like eat for leisure. It's more of the ones you need milk to dip into and like make it softer. Yeah, and then some of the cookies are really good and they're gooey and they're interesting. But some of the cookies, you can tell, didn't get as much dough to raisin ratio. So you have a whole bunch of raisins on this one bit of cookie, on this one cookie, and you're like, go, Sean. So then you have the ones where it's like the opposite. It's a whole lot of dough, but not a lot of raisins. You're like, okay, I can deal with this. So not all cookies are created equally, but you have to eat them all to potentially get the money. Now, what I don't understand is why we're forcing people to eat raisin cookies, but we aren't completely being open about the fact that these really are raisin cookies. You can't. It's not going to be sweets and sugar and delicious chocolate every moment of eating the cookie. There are raisins in here. It's gonna suck. We need to. I feel like that's the one problem I have with AP classes is they don't go through that stage. They don't tell people before they take them that hey, before you even enrolled for this class, before you even think about enrolling for this class, talk to someone who's in the class. Get Don't talk to anyone we appoint to talk to because we're going to appoint because logically counselors and teachers, they're going to appoint people who they believe will give the side that they want to make you want to be in there. Talk to someone who talks to 3 or 4 people that are in AP classes and ask them, what do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? Is it okay? How's the workload? What's the like overall vibe of the class? And that's actually really important because we talked about that in class, and whew, we had a come to Jesus meeting in class, and it's just like because the vibe of class is extremely important, especially when the class is. For example, I have one class where it only happens in fourth hour. Well, everyone in the class is hungry, ready to go to lunch because we have second lunch, so we feel a little cheated because everyone else is off at lunch, but because we have fourth hour, we gotta wait a whole another 45 to 50 minutes just to go get our food. So we kind of only want food at that moment. So attention isn't gonna be really there. But you have classes that are just after that. You've eaten and you kind of started to relax. Attention is going to be pretty high, or in some cases lower if you kind of feel sleepy after you eat. But that depends on the person. And then you have the classes that are 6th and 7th, that are like end of the day, and you're like, shoot, day's practically over. Why am I here? So you're already mentally in a whole different place. So that's not going to work. And then you have the classes that are early in the morning. Some people, if they're morning people, they're into it. They're like, okay, I'm up, I'm awake, I'm ready, let's do this. And then others, 90% of people that go to my school, they're like, I don't want to be here until after, I'm not ready for this until after second hour. Then I'm mentally awake enough to be here. And I think that should really go into account. How do the students feel about the day? Because ultimately that's going to affect the grades of the classes per hour. Like, you wouldn't expect a 7th hour class to really take off that well if everyone sort of has that same vibe of, why am I even here? I'm just ready to go home because last hour of the day, let's go. And you wouldn't expect a third hour is probably the most productive class because everyone's waking up. If you're in first lunch, you're about to go to lunch. If you're in second lunch, you're about to get cheated and have to go to fourth hour. And you're there and you're like, okay, I'm sort of getting this. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. And I mean, third and fourth hour are probably the most productive hours of the day because everyone's in the stage of either waking up, like they're at their peak at those hours. That's when the main peak is for at least at my school. That's when the main peak is. So why is it that we're just kind of doing all this and then the tests never take place in that peak? They're always really early in the morning or they're late in the afternoon. You're either extremely tired and your mind's not completely awake yet, or you're ready to go home and take a nap because you've been through all these freaking AP classes and your brain's exhausted and you're just ready to pass out, go home, watch television, and sort of not think about the day before you have to stay up for hours and do homework that's on every topic known to man in 3-4 hours, and then get a solid 4 hours of sleep before you have to be back up at school in the morning. So it's a strange and almost evil mix that they put people in, that they put students in sometimes just to look and in some cases be productive. But in a lot of cases, the way that that systems like this work is it doesn't put everyone in a great stance. It puts morning people in an okay stance, and it puts the people who don't really, and I'll admit I'm one of the people in this category who don't who don't have social lives to go to, who don't have anything to do after school. It rewards the people who literally go to school solely for being at school. They have nothing else to do with in their life. They have no other interest in life, nothing else. This system rewards that because since you don't have anything to do, here you can do an hour of government, a calculus project, a you can do like 3 or 4 English essays after school, and you can do a PowerPoint for English, for science, or you could do a whole part writing for AP Music Theory. This literally, this system literally, like the system that they try to push on students to join as many AP classes as you can because they're great for college. It, yes, it is great for college. I can't argue that because it's true. Colleges do enjoy the sight of AP classes, but it's detrimental to students because it puts them in a situation where they're like, okay, finish this, get to this, get to this, get to this, get to this, got to finish that. That's work due tomorrow. Got to finish that. It puts the students into an extremely small bubble that they have to work everything out in, and then live their entire life in that bubble because of all the work they have to do. They aren't allowed. They don't have the time. They don't have the freedom of mind to expand out of it. And I feel like that's the biggest problem with the hard push toward AP classes is that it makes students sort of trapped. And that's how a whole lot of AP students feel about the classes. So if you could share this with an AP teacher, if you feel the same way, definitely. I will be sending this honestly to a few of my AP teachers if I have their contacts. I believe I do. I'm not sure. I have a paper with a whole bunch of them on there, but um, yeah. Well, that's how I feel about this. Please like, comment. Please comment on how you feel about this because this is legitimately how I feel about AP classes. It's the raw. That's how. That's the exact emotion I have about all of this, and the fact that we know it's detrimental to students, but yet still say it's okay. That's the problem to me. So, yeah. See you next time on this wild world of mine.